The First Crusade. The Fall of Jerusalem. 1099. Jerusalem glows below, as the sun slips behind the hills. Two weary soldiers sit apart, their helmets cradled in their laps. The narrator watches the city, words shaped by history's burdens. Distant prayers drift from the valley as twilight deepens the gold. Between glory and regret, the road stretches beyond the horizon. Arrows darken the sky as cavalry scythes into exposed infantry ranks. 𝗙𝗲𝗡𝗧 rallies a shield wall, planting courage where terror blooms. Tancred hurls himself into a gap, blade lifted to stem the break. A 𝗙𝗥𝗨𝗦𝗧 rider slices through the loosened flank, hooves kicking dust. Bohemond's line locks tight, Tancred's blade bites, the breach hardens. Lances crest the ridge as thunderheads gather over the dusty valley. The spur to contact, hooves bite earth, the formation tightens to strike. Impact. The flank shatters as the relief slams home in a sparkling clash. Raymond drives the wedge deeper, scattering archers from the slope. The tide turns. Dust lifts in sheets as the enemy breaks from the flank. The columns thin into violet dusk, armor dulled beneath weary clouds. A lantern lifts from the roadside, figs and blessing change hands softly. The blessing lingers, the march resumes, measured and exhausted. Alliance in hunger. A shared look bridges fear and gratitude. Walls loom, cauldrons steam as watchful eyes sweep the approaches. Bohemond studies a postern, calculation tightens at the corner of his mouth. Straining hands drag a mangonel into range, inch by inch. Signals pass, positions fix, the first shots are silently counted. Fires gutter low, hunger sits like lead on hollowed faces. Raymond kneels to pray, 𝗙𝗙𝗏 steadies him with quiet presence. Thin meat hisses on iron, hollow eyes track every turn of the knife. Faith is whispered where rations fail, the night holds its breath. Bohemond drives the rout across the open fields. Two riders flee as the Norman presses the advantage. One enemy is unhorsed in a spray of dust and blood. The last pursuer reins in, gauging the scattered field. Across the plain, the line holds and the enemy breaks. Under a hard sun, envoys approach across the pale flats. The Fatimid emissary draws near, Godfrey waits, unreadable. Raymond listens tight-jawed as terms unfold. Measured words drift over dust and leather. Promises sift like sand, no handclasps seal the meeting. The holy city glows faintly beyond rolling, stony hills. Tancred steadies a limping footman as the path narrows. Waterskins pass hand to hand from Armenian traders. Jerusalem draws nearer, steps lengthen despite aching feet. A hush falls as the walls finally command the horizon. Night fires rim the camp as carpenters labor on towers. Godfrey confers quietly with Raymond over routes and ladders. Soldiers bind wounds and kiss their small wooden crosses. Hammers rise and fall, towers creep toward their launch points. Plans fixed, the camp settles into a tense, sleepless vigil. Siege engines lurch forward under blazing sun and pitch. Arrows beat the timber as ladders bite the stone. At the tower's top, a bridge slams onto the parapet. Fighters grapple on the stones, the parapet becomes a press. Smoke rolls over the city as civilians scramble below. The Theodosian walls rise like cliffs over the dust-choked road. Two wary locals watch the passing host from a patch of shade. Bohemond reigns in beneath the walls, eyes weighing the city's splendor. The line rolls onward, banners snapping while fear and wonder mingle. Under stone and sun, calculation hardens resolve on both sides. Gold mosaics glow as Alexios receives envoys beneath a vaulted dome. 𝗙𝗙𝗎𝗧 speaks with measured gravity, words weighed like coins. Apart, 𝗙𝗲𝗺𝗀 crosses his arms, withholding more than words. Vows and lands hang in the air like incense, slow and inescapable. Distrust coils, unseen yet palpable, as terms near their mark. Siege towers rumble forward under a bright, pitiless Sunday. A Seljuk archer looses into the assault, posture calm and precise. Godfrey braces a ladder as flames lick the drying timber. Arrows rake the climbers, a shield turns into a burning beacon. The tower's gangway slams close, victory and death hang inches apart. Along the lake, Byzantine banners crest the walls before the princes. Raymond lowers his sword, surprise overtaking battle hard lines. On the water, silent oars finish a victory not theirs to claim. Cheers falter, suspicion creeps in like a chill from the lake. Banners fly bright, pride dulls under the weight of exclusion. The steppe shimmers, a thin column threads a horizon without shade. Tancred offers Bohemond a skin, both men gaunt with thirst. 2 footmen lag, one buckles as dust cakes cracked lips. The map of survival narrows to a single shared swallow. Forward, because there is only forward across this empty land. Candlelit mosaics glimmer as Alexios listens, weighed by distant thunder of armies. A messenger bows low, parchment trembling between cautious fingers. Alexios gestures to the silk-draped map, roots curling like serpents over Anatolia. Caution settles like incense, usefulness is weighed, risks tallied in silence. Decision made, he signals for ink, the empire will hedge its bets. A patchwork host spreads across the meadow under a bright, pitiless sky. Walter tightens a battered strap, jaw set against doubt and heat. 2 barefoot farmers grip spears taller than themselves, knuckles white with resolve. The crowd surges a step forward, thin singing carried on the dry air. Walter falls in beside them, shield lifted, determination hardening into duty. Gray light presses down as the column frays across a rutted country road. He offers a crust to a gaunt follower, palm open, eyes gentle. 2 adolescents stagger with a swollen waterskin, lips cracked, eyes wet. Walter urges stragglers on, lifting a child onto a cart with curt efficiency. Feet bleed through bandages as the line shuffles on into the gray distance. From the green gloom, cavalry bursts out, leaves shiver with the shock. A spear lowers, its point leveled with ruthless precision. Arrows hiss from hidden angles, men clutch at shafts blooming red. Walter hauls Peter behind a fallen tree, shouting orders to hold the line. Chaos blooms, the ambush smothers hope beneath iron and leaves. Banners crest a dusty rise as armored columns roll toward a hazy frontier. Raymond glances back, eyes clouded, toward loved ones weeping on a cart. Standards flick and snap. Resolve tightens like reins in calloused hands. Behind them, ranks ripple like grain, the horizon bristling with spears. Resolve and dread travel together beneath the same bright, endless sky. Whispers coil on the stair as Bohemond grips the guide's shoulder. Tancred waits below, steel drawn, measuring the dark for danger. Promises of safety pass softly, fear flickers in the guide's eyes. The bolt yields with a groan, the postern breathes stale night air. Bohemond signals the climb, silent shapes gather to slip inside. Mist clings to alleys as doors splinter and shouts bloom. 𝗙𝗎𝗪𝗀's men rally in pockets behind makeshift barricades. Civilians flee between clashes, robes darkened with blood and dew. Horns answer horns as signalers vanish into the fog above. Streets fill with victors and survivors, the city choking on smoke. On the horizon, dark banners gather like a storm against the plain. 𝗙𝗪𝗥𝗦𝗧 confers briefly, eyes like iron beneath the standard. Columns pivot, dust lifting as wings extend across the plain. A measured advance begins, hooves striking a drumbeat into earth. The city watches, a held breath before the coming trial. Under torchlight, digging begins in the earthen nave floor. Sweat and prayer mingle as the trench deepens by inches. Adamar bends, hope and doubt warring behind steady eyes. A cry metal in dirt, the workers freeze, breath held. 𝗙𝗲𝗎𝗪 lifts the relic, the church blooming with trembling light. Gates yawn and sunlight cleaves the shadowed arch of Antioch. Beyond, 𝗙𝗪𝗥𝗦𝗧 lines bristle, the field awaits the clash. Godfrey signals the charge, the first ranks fall into step. Lines meet with a shiver of steel and splinters of Sunday. Amid chaos, belief hardens, the relic glows like a promise. Under a white sun, formations buckle and begin to break apart. Two riders wheel desperately, the chase snaps tight behind them. A rider falls, dust and blood fountaining from the torn saddle. 𝗙𝗲𝗍𝗪 cuts through survivors, the rout becoming a harvest. Across the field, the enemy standards dip, the plain exhales. Europe sprawls in sunlight, spires, fields, and stone roads breathe old rhythms. Knights ride in files as villagers pause mid-shore, eyes tracking iron and silk. Banners bite the wind, steel flashes like sunlight poured into edges. Fields stretch to horizons as plows score earth and futures alike. A steady voice frames hope and fear balanced on an iron hinge. Under frescoed arches, the crowd presses close, breath held for a word. His cadence strikes like a bell, faces harden, eyes lift to future roads. A mailed fist tightens on a knee, a peasant mouths a prayer into his palm. Above painted martyrs seem to lean nearer, as if listening too. Resolve gathers like thunder behind stone, a continent stirs awake. The plea concludes, the square erupts like grain before a rising wind. Steel rises like saplings, tears carve clean tracks through dust. A grizzled knight kneels, dust halos his shoulders like ash from a forge. Crossed bodies, crossed signs, the square swears itself into a future. Bells and drums collide, the air tastes of metal, sweat, and hope. Names inked in margins summon faces across a table of maps and seals. Peter arrives ragged, eyes alight as if fire hid under the cloth. Walter tightens a belt, steel answering the whisper of paper. Ink scratches across, a breath steadies the room to a single point. From ink to iron, a company of temperaments takes its first bow. Canvas breathes, princes bend over roots that could unmake them. Bohemond looms like a stormfront, chain links murmuring when he shifts. Fingers trace rivers, knives pin crossings like vows nailed to wood. Raymond's eyes lift, measuring men as much as miles. In one tent, one banner, under it, many roads diverge already. Flames leap across the market as smoke veils the sky. Tancred stops, lowering his blade amid the ruin. Two weary foot soldiers stagger through ash, haunted by cries. Tancred glances aside, wrestling triumph with horror. The street opens onto a square where fire and prayer mingle. Sunshafts cut dust above the tomb's stone threshold. Godfrey kneels, helm at his side, before the holy place. Adamar rests a steady hand, blessing without pomp. No crown is taken, a humbler duty is embraced. The church holds its silence, light lingering on stone. A long table bears new maps edged with fresh seals. Raymond and Bohemond face each other across borders redrawn. Two Armenian merchants present tribute under wary eyes. Bohemond marks a claim, Raymond studies, unblinking. Maps settle, titles hang heavy in the sunlit hall. Palm shade cools a courtyard of stone and dust. A Fatimid envoy confers with a wary cavalryman. Under the arch, survivors tend wounds by the pool. The envoy's words tighten, the rider nods once. Across the stones, life resumes, marked by caution. Lamplight pools over ledgers and a map pinned by knives. Alexios listens as villagers kneel with petitions. He gestures to the map, weighing aid against risk. The villagers await judgment in tense silence. Decision lands like ink, deliberate, indelible.